right, Route 45 leaders, we have an incredible week ahead of us. And especially after kicking off last week, I'm just so excited for what this month has in store for us. Talking about individuality, talking about how God made us is such an important thing, especially for this age group. This is the age that they're looking for acceptance. They're looking to establish who they are as an individual. They're not a kid anymore. Their parents don't control nearly as much of what they do. They are making their own decisions, forming their own friend groups, making their own bad choices, and their own good choices too. So this is a time whenever it's really important that as we're digging into what makes these kids special, what makes them tick, what it is that they feel is special about themselves, that we're listening to and that we're hearing them. And that whenever they decide that something is special about them that they feel like they want to share, that we are excited to hear it, and that we let them know this is a safe place to share that, and that we're excited to come alongside of them and work through things that they feel like maybe they're not super special about, or that maybe is not a great thing that they're struggling with, and then to celebrate the things that they are really proud of themselves for, and they think is great about themselves, that we are not brushing off anything that they bring to the table as unimportant or not special. This is a great series. I'm so glad that we're doing it across the board. And I know that this is something that hopefully will carry them all the way into students as they get ready to dig into kind of a meatier version of this somewhere in the future that I know that Daniel and Corbin will eventually cover and get into with them. So as you're getting ready to get it, you're going to branch out into your small groups, obviously. And one of the things that you're going to have is you're going to have a big piece of butcher paper that has some words on it. And the activity is that you are going to go through and you are going to either draw a no symbol, is what they call it, but it's like the no smoking thing. So like a circle with a big slash through it, next to words that associate with a bad relationship. And then any words that they circle, you're going to challenge them to create an emoji to represent the meaning of the word. And then you're going to talk about how and why the kids classify the different words on the butcher paper in the way that they do. And then you've got your discussion questions about how times that you felt like you were a lost sheep, and opportunities that you have to be rescued, and what it means to be rescued, all those kind of things. And I think it's going to create some really cool conversations about that personal relationship with Jesus and how you guys can help facilitate that. And of course, we have a splash class coming up on the 17th of this month, where if you have any kids who are asking those kind of questions, grab some of those splash class cards from the coaches table and make sure that they go into the hands of parents. If you put it in the hands of your kids, they're probably not going to make it out the door. And we want to make sure that parents know about splash class and getting their kids signed up for it. And your last activity before your prayer is going to be they call it a verses to take with you. And you get this little guy right here. It's just this little packet of different Psalms, not just our memory verse, which I think is included somewhere in here, which is Psalm 139:14. And it is, oh, no, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna say it's not included. That's weird. But what you're gonna do is you are going to pair your kids into teams of 2, and they are going to get a psalm and an index card. Surprise, we have index cards this week. And they're going to read the psalm, and then they are going to simplify it down to one sentence. And they are going to pass their psalm off to the person next to them, and then they're going to do the next psalm that they get. So by the end of it, they should have six psalms that they're all going to get to go home with cards for. That is a breakdown, a simplification of what it is that the psalm kind of says to them, what they see in these different psalms, the kind of different things that they're either praising or asking for, or seeking out, whatever it is that might kind of mean to them. And of course, in your prayer, your make it personal time is going to be whenever you're going to encourage your kids to take one of their cards, take one of their Psalms, and take it home and memorize it. Really store up these verses in our hearts for those times whenever we desperately need it. And then you're gonna close out in prayer. And again, I always say this, but 4th and 5th graders, it's so important that we are showering them and showing them what it looks like to pray, leading them and helping them to remember that there is nothing too big and there's nothing too small that we can talk to God about. And I think that that's something that we forget as adults as we get older, regularly that we hear people talking about how they are dealing with a death in the family or battling cancer or they're sick or whatever. And so it feels silly to say, oh, well, like, I've got some plumbing issues that are going on that I really could use some prayer about, that I'm really stressed about it, prayer that God's gonna take care of us just like he always does. There's nothing too big and there's nothing too small. And I think that mentality starts here. With these kids. So guys, Route 45 is an incredible place and I love that I get to be a part of it with you. I'm praying for you, I love you, and I will see you on Sunday.